If you have moderate to severe plaque psoriasis...
Black clothes from white marks, still with 48-hour sweat protection. Try Degree Ultra Clear Black Plus White. It won't let you down.
It just seems that he's had this noticeable effect.
Show me a guy who's done more with less.
He brings a steadiness day in and day out.
They feel that he's a trusted friend.
You always look at the guy leading the show.
What that man has done with his ball club, I think, has been remarkable.
Whatever he's doing works.
When it comes to Terry Francona, these guys do things for him and go out there and play because the man's real.
Race to 11 wins starting in October. I like our team's chances.
He came in this season and that culture has changed noticeably, and he is a large part of that.
The cards that Buddy Black has played this season have all come up easy.
Great job Paul Molitor has done.
He's a rock star in the world of managers.
That's why I like him as manager of the year.
And with that, let's bring you inside Studio 21 for our BBWA Manager of the Year show here on MLB Network. It's Greg Amstinger, my guys, Carlos Pena and Tom Verducci. Okay, so Awards Week started with our Rookies of the Year. Not a lot of suspense there. Judge and Bellinger won. We've got suspense in this broadcast, don't we, Carlos?
No doubt about it. I really have no idea who's going to win, okay? And they are great candidates, so, you know, we're going to have fun tonight.
That's why it's one of my favorites. Annually, it's one of the most unpredictable awards we have.
Okay, so we've got the AL, the NL. Let's begin with the National League. We've got 3 finalists. Let's tell you a little bit about all 3. Our first NL finalist is Bud Black, who won this award back in 2010 with the Padres. Now, in his first year managing the Rockies, he led Colorado to his 4th postseason appearance in franchise history, and first since 2009. He also guided a rookie rotation that made 93 starts. Now, first-year manager Torey Lovullo, the Arizona Diamondbacks, is a finalist for this honor after leading the D-backs to a 24-win improvement over last season. Lovullo looks to become the 7th first-time skipper to win Manager of the Year. The last guy to do that is our 3rd finalist. That's right, Dave Roberts won this award last year. He's back after guiding the Dodgers to an MLB best 104 wins, despite ace Clayton Kershaw missing 5+ weeks with a strained back. The 45-year-old led the Dodgers to their 5th straight NL West division title, and apparently he's throwing a Manager of the Year party. We were not invited, but another finalist for this award is Bud Black, Dave Roberts in the same location, and we got Torey Lovullo standing by, all 3 finalists for NL Manager of the Year. Okay, so Bud, you're at Dave's house right now. How did this come about that you guys decided to throw a little Manager of the Year party? Bud, can you hear Greg Amstinger? Bud Black. All right, Dave, I'll start with you. I think you can hear me.
I can hear you, Greg.
All right, so Dave, how did this come about?
I don't know where we're hung up, man.
Oh, it's okay.
You know what? So what happened is that Blackie and I live probably as a crow flies a couple miles from each other. So then our guy, Joe Jarek, doing the media relations, asked me to have Buddy over, and I said, absolutely. So we got our wives in the background talking shop, talking NL West baseball.
All right, Torey, this question is actually for you. You were over there with the Red Sox as bench coach. Can you hear me, Torey?
I can hear you. Hey, I missed something on that. I didn't get that invite. Hey, Doc. I mean, seriously. You guys got my number?
You got the open invite, Torey. That's right. You got the open invite.
I appreciate that. I love you guys. How you doing?
Well, good to have you, Torey. Seriously, incredible year, all right? And you were over there with the Red Sox for a while as bench coach. This is your first time managing, full-out managing. What surprised you? What didn't? And did the timing with the Red Sox really prepare you for this job?
Well, you know, you manage games throughout the course of your career when you're a player and or sitting in the dugout as a coach. But once you make that final decision and you're pulling the trigger, it's a little bit different. So I got a chance to do that on an interim basis while John was nursing himself back to good health. And I got my game clock and got everything kind of pushed in the right direction. So it was a catalyst for what I was able to do and prepare myself and get ready for an exciting year this past year.
Well, Dave Roberts, I hope Buddy Black brought like a cheese platter or something over the house. But listen, I know you two guys are very friendly. You served kind of an apprenticeship under Buddy on the staff in San Diego. I want to know the impact that Buddy Black had on you as a manager, the manager you are today.
He had a huge impact on me. I think, I get asked that question a lot, who had the most impact on you as a coach? And Buddy, far and away, just understanding how to relate to players and things that come with managing and talking through pitching with me. And as a friend, obviously most important, but a mentor, and to have him by my side, obviously this is a special moment for me. And it's great in the winter. We can be very friendly and do coffee and breakfast, but during the course of the season, we go at it 19 times a year.
Torrey, it's interesting. It's something that Dave knows, and even Bud, guys that take over a team that first year, communication is so important with the new guys on your roster. But a lot of fans at home don't know what that looks and sounds like. Daniel Descalso in April was wearing a microphone. You knew he was, but you had a little interaction with him that I want to play for our audience. Watch this.
Be careful, Skipper. Don't give away any secrets.
Are you mic'd up?
I'm mic'd up. Where'd it go?
I try to stay ahead of it. I should have told you, like, hey, man, I'm going to give CO on at second base instead of having me come in the next day. Expect him to play.
Well, I thought Drew was going to play. I didn't know he was going to get the day, so I just figured he was playing.
Okay. I owe you, just because of you and how much you respected me and how good you've been for me, I owe you, hey, Daniel, heads up tomorrow, if Drury doesn't start, I'm going to probably let CO take a run at it. Cool.
I don't know what people at home think. I think that was so cool, that interaction. It's like behind the curtain, Torrey. How important is communication like that early on in the year, and did it impact the success your team had through the rest of the regular season?
Well, yeah, I hope it had some sort of an impact on these guys, whether it be individually or collectively. I'm not sure. You'll have to ask them. But I know that, you talk about being a good communicator. It's being able to express yourself and say the types of things that I was able to say to Daniel right there. But it's also being an active listener. And you spend a lot of time listening and evaluating and then kind of prepping some thoughts that are going to help guys build trust. And when you build trust with guys, they can do things that they may not be comfortable doing or make adjustments they may not want to make. And that was the most important thing for me, was being able to establish a terrific line of communication and then build that trust factor and see what it did to us.
Hey, Dave, I'm going to ask you to play bench coach to Buddy again and pass along my question to him, since we can't get to him directly. Torrey went through it this year. You went through it last year. I want to know how important spring training and the first month of the season was for Buddy Black, first year in Colorado.
Right now, Blackie. So Torrey went through it this year. I went through it last year. How important was spring training for you your first year with the Colorado Rockies?
Well, first of all, you got. Hey, after you're managing, you can be a broadcaster.
I'm going to take Carlos Pena's job.
Hey, what's up, man? Obviously, it was big, getting to know the guys. But, I think, both of us had a little bit of a heads up, because we had seen these two teams, from the other dugout.
Right.
But still, getting to know those guys in spring training, and a lot of work was done in the wintertime, too, through conversations over the phone and meeting with some players live. But, I think as soon as you get to know your players as quickly as possible, that's a big advantage.
All right, there you have it.
Yeah, and see, so we're close right now. We're close right now, but he won't tell me how to get Arenado out, so we're not that close.
Not that close.
Our three finalists, we got Bud Black, we got Torrey Lovello, and Bud's interpreter, Dave Roberts. Our three finalists for NL Manager of the Year. Guys, don't go anywhere. One of you will find out who takes this honor just coming up in moments here on MLB Network. Okay, so that was a lot of fun. And Manager of the Year, this show is like, it's so easy because they can talk and it's a lot of fun. But when we look at how we evaluate and who should win an award like this, it's got to be difficult. So here we are on the show. How do you go about breaking down who should be deserving and who shouldn't be?
It's amazing, isn't it? Because with the players, MVP, rookie, side, we got a lot of stats, right? Lean on those. Now I look at checklists for manager. What challenges did they face? And for Lovello, you're talking about his challenges. You really had to change the culture of pitching. Last in the major leagues last year, well, pitching and defense is where I believe they turned this thing around. A lot of the analytics that he brought over from Boston really worked well for this team. Better clubhouse atmosphere. I can tell you, Greg, I was in the clubhouse in spring training. I could not believe the difference, the upbeat attitude. Torey Lovullo brought that from day one in Arizona. A lot of smiles. That's what winning does, too, by the way. And the bullpen strategy. Look at this. Archie Bradley turned out to be a weapon for Torey Lovullo, but I love the way he used him. He didn't have him pigeonholed into one spot. Whenever there was a fire to be put out, Archie Bradley was the button you pushed to get into the game. Relief pitching, the bullpen, the ERA went down by almost a full run. I think he did a great job. Again, it started in spring training for me. That's why I asked Buddy Black that question. New manager, you make your impact before opening day. He did that.
I like that a lot. So it's a checklist, how they face adversity, some of the decisions that they made with their personnel. How would you do that for Dave Roberts? How would you break it down?
Yeah, because Dave obviously definitely has an unbelievable arsenal of talent in that whole entire clubhouse of the ball club. However, how about all the injuries that he had to deal with and how he has absolutely just overcome that situation? 28 different Dodgers replaced in the DL this season, most in all Major League Baseball. Clayton Kershaw, 33 games were missed. Justin Turner, 19 games. Agon, 85 games. Alex Wood, 24 games. Rich Hill, 35 games. Jock Peterson, very difficult to get through that. But how about this, guys? How do you let the wild horse run free? All right? That's one of the toughest things, I think, that he was able to manage this year. Is also how he managed Bowie. All right? That's what we're looking right here. I got the wrong order right here. There's Bowie. There you go. Here we have him. All right, guys. Hey, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, all right? And this guy was running free I mean, he didn't tame him. He let him go free, but at least he kept him on track. Right. So, man, he really had his work cut out for him, and he did an outstanding job at just putting it all together. And how about that difficult stretch?
Yeah,
they went through? He got himself back together, didn't allow that negative momentum to just take him down, and he rose back to the top.
Dave did the same thing trying to play Carlos Pena. How do you think you could handle being the manager of the Dodgers? He takes your job.
I'll give it a try.
You'll give it a try? Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Switch, I like it.
All right, that's good. All right, as for Bud Black, here he shows up with a young staff in Colorado, of all places.
I think it's the toughest place to manage. So he was up against tremendous challenges in year one. First of all, I think down the stretch is always tough in Denver because physically it takes more out of the players. So I measure a guy in Colorado, develop young pitching. You know, but any kind of pitching in Colorado is tough. Look at this, 93 games started by rookie pitchers, the most in baseball. And by the way, they went 38 and 28. That's a great job. Again, down the stretch, so important in Colorado. And it looked like in the middle of the season they were wavering there. Same old Rockies, right? No, they stabilized things down the stretch. Credit to Buddy Black. They finished strong down the stretch. One more on the checklist for Buddy Black. Of course, improve away from Coors. That's always been the bugaboo. This team has had so much trouble winning on the road. 41 and 40. Doesn't sound great, does it? That is great. That ties the franchise record for the most wins on the road. I mean, he did an incredible job. The biggest challenge is pitching down the stretch and winning on the road. He checked off everything on the list.
Who in the world is the front runner for this award?
Oof. Why are you asking these questions?
It's because, it stirs the pot.
Exactly. It's good TV, right? Front runner? I can't. Don't do that to me.
Let's go.
All right. Who's your front runner? Okay.
Don't do that to me, Carlos. Come on. You're going to be manager of the Dodgers.
Somebody from the NL West.
Hey, we got 3 finalists. Who will it be? Will it be Bud Black of the Rockies, Dave Roberts of the Dodgers, or Torey Lovullo of the Arizona Diamondbacks? Only one way to find out. The live announcement next on MLB Network.
Roster shakeups, big trades, free agent buzz. When it comes to off-season baseball coverage, Matt Vasgersian and Harold Reynolds are on the case. Hot Stove, weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network.
All right, off you go.
Fridays at Buckingham Palace? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Nathan saved by switching to Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Wendy's new chicken tenders are perfectly crispy and tender. And with a new side of Sawsome sauce, they're even better. So now the question is, to dip or not to dip? For a limited time, try the new chicken tenders with fries and a drink for just $5. Only at Wendy's.
Bringing my Giovanni Rana pasta to everyone in America wasn't so easy. So I made it easy for America to find me in the refrigerated section. Giovanni Rana pasta. Share what's inside.
Heineken has been family-owned since 1873. They know about family tradition. My favorite family tradition? Exchanging gifts. It allows me to showcase my range as an actor. What could this be? You shouldn't have. I love it. I actually bought these myself. There's more behind the star.
It's easy to think that all money managers are pretty much the same. But while some push high-commission investment products, Fisher Investments avoids them. Some advisors have hidden and layered fees. Fisher Investments never does. And while some advisors are happy to earn commissions from you, whether you do well or not, Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when you do better. Maybe that's why most of our clients come from other money managers. Fisher Investments, clearly better money management.
Intentional Time, weekdays at 5 on MLB Network.
This is the year we go all the way. Things couldn't be looking better for the Tribe.
This team has completely lost its focus.
Major League 2, Thursday at 9 Eastern on MLB Network's Bleacher Features.
Every off-season move causes a chain reaction. As the deals roll out, rivals race to get stronger. However the pieces fall, MLB Tonight will cover every twist and every turn. MLB Tonight, only on MLB Network.
They can handcuff, stymie, and blow it by the game's top sluggers. But which hurlers were this year's best? Don't miss the BBWAA Cy Young Awards, Wednesday at 6 Eastern, exclusively on MLB Network.
Manager of the Year candidate in the National League. Troy Labello is the clear-cut frontrunner. You also have Bud Black of Colorado, and of course Dave Roberts of the Dodgers.
Troy Labello in his rookie season in the dugout, great job from Arizona. Took him from 69 wins to 93.
Bud Black done a great job in year number 1.
Bud Black brings a different kind of energy. I thought Dave Roberts did an amazing job last night to give his team the best chance to be successful today.
We are moments away from finding out who will be your NL Manager of the Year. Before the live announcement, let's let Chris Russo, the Mad Dog, weigh in.
National League Manager of the Year, and boy, is this a tricky choice. Dave Roberts of the Dodgers, Bud Black, of course, of Colorado, and Troy Labello of Arizona. Where do you go? I mean, you could go L.A. I don't think Dave Roberts is going to win because he won last year's, and they obviously were favored to win the division. They did have that little swoon in September, which cost them any records as far as regular season is concerned in the history of the sport, so I don't think he is going to win for that reason, and I probably wouldn't vote for him. You could go Labello because obviously Arizona had a better record than the Rockies did. They had the home game in the playoffs, of course, in a wild card. They had a bad year the year before. New manager, you could go in that direction if you wished, or you could go Bud Black, who finished as the second wild card, went to Colorado, obviously not a whole ton of pitching, and he figured out a way to get in the playoffs. It's between those two, and I think it's a crapshoot. I think we all expected Arizona to have a better year in 2017 off that awful 2016, just starting with injuries. Don't forget they lost Pollock before spring training ended in 2016. They were healthier. You figured Greinke, so, maybe they kind of expected to do a little better. Or you could say Colorado, all those young pitchers. Boy, it's very, very tricky. I'll go better record, and I'll take Labello. They won over the 90 ball games. Colorado had to kind of limp home to win the second wild card. Arizona played well against Colorado second half of the year. Our take, Lovello Diamondbacks, NL Manager of the Year.
We don't even need you. All right, Mad Dog, let's see if you're right. Join us for the live announcement. It's the Secretary-Treasurer of the BBWA, Jack O'Connell. Take it away, Jack.
5 different managers received first place mention for Manager of the Year in the National League, but none more than Torey Lovello, who was first on 18 of the 30 ballots to win the award in his first full season on the job. Dave Roberts was the runner-up with 5 first-place votes, and Bud Black had 3. There were also 3 first-place votes for the Brewers' Craig Counsell and 1 for the Nationals' Dusty Baker.
Jack, thank you. There you have it. Torey Lovello, 111 total points. Actually, not even close. We thought this was going to be a nail-biter. Lovello with 18 first-place votes, like Jack said. And Torey Lovello is your 2017 NL Manager of the Year. First off, Torey, congratulations.
Thank you.
What does an honor like this mean to you?
Well, listen, it speaks for itself when you get separated from a field like I did, and there's a lot of great candidates. It's pretty special, and there's a lot of things that go on that nobody knows about. The long nights, your family supports you, and the players go out and perform. It's a very, very nice feeling, but I know a lot of people did a lot of great things behind the scenes to help me get here.
Torey, congratulations, well deserved. I know you went through a lot of interviews before you actually got this job. You changed leagues. Tell me, when in spring training, or maybe during the season, did you learn that you had a team capable of going to the postseason?
Well, from playing against them, a couple interleague series over the past few years, I felt very strongly that they had a good nucleus of guys that knew how to play the game and just probably didn't have some good luck. I know that was mentioned by the Mad Dog earlier, some injuries, and a lot of things kind of went in reverse on them. So I knew early in spring training that the players were here, that the guys could go out and perform. It's just they need to get off to a good start. So that was where I put myself out there a little bit. I wanted to kind of change the culture, change their expectations every day, and I watched that in spring training. These guys really gravitated to one another, and then probably the series coming out of Chicago was a long rain delay. We won a Game 3 war, a battle, I should say, with Chicago before we left that town. I thought to myself that this team could do it against the defending National League champs, World Series champs. We went toe-to-toe with them, and I felt like we could do something special.
Torey, congratulations. I mean, just an awesome year, like I said. And now you look forward and you ask yourself, everybody says how hardworking you are. They speak volumes as far as your work ethic is concerned. How about now? Where can you improve? Looking forward, what do you think are the aspects of managing that you can improve upon?
Well, look, I think that's what we all do every single day. And when we're all players and things happen, you look to get better each and every day. And that doesn't change now that I'm a staff member. So it's the same mentality. It's all I've known. That I'm going to look at everything that I could possibly do that maybe didn't go right this past year that I don't want to have go wrong again this year. So that would be where I'll start. And I think that's just human nature. And then examine the things that went well and just try to really get to the idea of raising the expectations and raising the bar a little bit higher, because that's what we need to do here in Arizona. We had a tremendous year. We're very, very proud of that. But I think there's still a little bit of hurt from how the season ended. And I know these guys are feeling it. Some of the conversations I'm having with them, I think we're all eager to see what we can do in the future years.
Well, you weren't invited to Bud and Dave's Manager of the Year party.
Right.
So where's your Manager of the Year party going to be?
Oh my God! My bride is sitting right here with me, and we put aside what we were going to do or what we thought about doing. We just wanted it to be another day, another normal day. Thanks, babe. Thank you.
It's awesome.
So we just want it to be another normal day. I don't know. We might. I don't know.
Go have some fun. You celebrate.
Well, we're probably going to celebrate and have a really nice dinner at our favorite restaurant. So unfortunately, our kids are all over the map with school and stuff like that in college. So it'll be just probably our youngest and my wife and I, and we'll have a nice dinner somewhere in Scottsdale tonight.
Well, you deserve it. Torey Lovello, your 2017 National League Manager of the Year. Congratulations again.
Thanks, you guys. I appreciate that.
All right. Torey Lovello, the Arizona Diamondbacks, getting it done. This is his reaction, so stoic when you hear the announcement from Jack O'Connell. When we come back, we set the stage for the American League Award. That's next.
Welcome to the nerd life.
Do you like numbers? We can talk analytics all we want.
MLB Now, the show for the thinking fan.
The off-season is here. There's so much to learn.
Weekdays at 4 Eastern on MLB Network. Welcome to the nerd life.
It's time to see who's award-worthy on the 2017 Esurance MLB Awards Show. See how your votes stack up for the best players and the biggest moments of the season. The Esurance MLB Awards Show, Friday at 8 Eastern on MLB Network.
Where do we keep the sauce or the new Western barbecue bacon cheeseburger?
Go west, son, where the bacon comes thick cut and the barbecue sauce flows like the raging waters of the Yukon.
What?
It's left in the fridge.
The new Western barbecue bacon cheeseburger, $5 lunch.
Welcome to Dairy Queen.
At Sam Adams, we salute those people who did that thing. Built that thing, tried that thing, messed that thing up, then tried it again. For all the people who believe in going for it, failing, improving, who do their thing the same way we do ours. Because life isn't about whether your glass is half full or half empty. It's about filling it up. Sam Adams, fill your glass.
Introducing Fitbit Ionic, the smartwatch designed for fitness.
Underestimated you, Mr. Hansen.
You and Rotten Tomatoes. I'm Ryan Hansen. I'm your new partner.
Are you serious? Would I have seen you in anything?
This show that you're literally on right now.
You're one of the celebrity liaisons to the LAPD?
I guess they were pretty impressed with my reel.
They must be fans of unaired pilots.
I'm like legit helping solve this. Come on, admit it.
You need to shut up when you talk.
It takes Arby's hours to smoke their new smokehouse chicken. Who else puts this much work into their chicken? Mama chickens, maybe. Arby's, we have the meat.
Is this for me?
Happy? Let out your inner child at the Lexus December to Remember sales event. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
No one covers our national pastime like Baseball America. It's the must-read for baseball fans, from high school and college to the minor and major leagues. Baseball America brings passionate fans and industry readers the game's most complete coverage. Now you can give Baseball America a try. Get 6 issues for just $9.95. Call 1-800-845-2726 or visit baseballamerica.com/MLB Network for this special $9.95 offer.
Join the conversation. Find MLB Network on Facebook or Twitter and let us know what's on your mind.
Live baseball continues in November on MLB Network with the Arizona Fall League. See the next wave of Major League phenoms in action for the Arizona Fall League Championship. Watch it Saturday at 3 Eastern on MLB Network.
To be able to tie it all together at this level is part of my story.
If you don't have some kind of a belief system that you can achieve certain goals, then you shouldn't even be out there.
I feel like a better person for going through the year with these guys.
He should be a manager of the year candidate in the American League.
Show me a guy who's done more with less.
Could there be anyone else that gets AL Manager of the Year when you consider what this team has done in 2017?
Greg Carlson, Tom getting set for the AL Manager of the Year announcement live here on MLB Network. And some people might be sitting back going, wait a minute, managing in the postseason, it's tough. Why doesn't the postseason impact a vote like this, Tom?
Yeah, it's important to remember the votes have to be in before the postseason starts. And think about how postseason baseball highlights managerial decisions.
All the time.
Wow. So we might have different results, but important to remember, not as we have it now. Postseason does not count.
I wonder if this will be closer than the NL side. Torey Lovello is your NL manager. Let's take another look at the 3 finalists for American League Manager of the Year. Yeah, our guy Tito, he's a finalist for Skipper of the Year once again after the Indians racked up 102 victories, ran away with the AL Central Division. Francona hasn't had a losing season in his 5 years at the helm in Cleveland. The 58-year-old did miss a few games leading into the All-Star break due to a heart procedure. Baseball's 2017 Cinderella story belonged to the Minnesota Twins and their manager Paul Molitor, who's the finalist for this award for the second time in 3 years. Molitor led a young Twins team with the 9th lowest payroll in the game to 85 victories and a wild card berth. The third finalist for AL Manager of the Year is A.J. Hinch. Aside from the obvious World Series title, like Tom said, does not impact the voting for this award. Hinch led the Astros over 100 wins for just the second time in franchise history and first since 1998. We are pleased to be joined by all three finalists for AL Manager of the Year, Terry Francona, A.J. Hinch, and Paul Molitor. Tito, I want to start with you. You've had a lot of success in your managerial career, but this year you had to battle health at a level you never had to battle before. Did it make it that much more taxing this 2017 season for you?
You know, physically it was. You know, when I missed about 10 days right in the middle of the season. Then when I came back, you know, I missed the All-Star game, and we started out in the West Coast and went 1-6. So it was hard physically. What I felt worse about, I think, was I leaned on our coaches so much. You know, Brad Mills, who took over and probably did better than I could. But it should be the other way around. And that's why when the season was over, I came back to Arizona. I need to get stronger and healthier because it does take it out of you, you know, the older you get. And I want to be able to get out there. I don't want to shortchange anybody.
Paul Molitor, what a career you had as a player. I mean, the 3,000 hits, World Series MVP, Hall of Fame. But I got to ask you, the day the Minnesota Twins clinched a postseason berth, you're the manager. How does that feeling compare to anything you had as a player?
Well, there's no question. It's pretty special. I think most people that have had a chance to play and then go on either in coaching or manager roles will tell you that there's nothing quite like playing, and to experience a world championship as a player, it's certainly a highlight. But when you put in the work in this particular role and you get rewarded by a chance to advance to the postseason, that night in Cleveland when we had a chance to celebrate was pretty special. I was really happy for my coaches and our players.
AJ, congratulations, man, on an unbelievable year on your World Series. Look, your team is one of the teams that they like analytics, right? I mean, that's something that's very important to you guys. But you go out and you get veteran players, and they come in, McCann, Reddick, you know, and all of a sudden Carlos Beltran. How much of an impact did they have really in your clubhouse? I'm not speaking performance. I'm talking about their presence.
Oh, for sure. Well, two things. Number one, I'm sitting in between Paul Molitor and Terry Francona, two Hall of Famers, and I'm sitting pretty good right now where I'm at right now. With our team, you know, we just continue to try to be the blend of analytics and sort of tradition, and I felt like this year, with the additions that we made before the seasons, our front office did a great job of understanding what we needed to do better. Our young players grew. We sprinkled in Justin Verlander and Cam Maben and Francisco Liriano at the deadlines, and we had a nice little mixture of a good team.
Hey, Terry, you are the only American League manager in history I can ask this question. What's it like to win 22 consecutive games? As a manager, what was that like going through that, and especially the way the city bonded with your club?
You know, you've been around me long enough to know that we try so hard to stay in the moment and come in every day feeling like today's going to be our day. It's a little bit easier when you're in a run like that to kind of feel that way. But one of our biggest challenges, and one of the things I was most proud of, was when we lost, we came back the next week and played the same brand of baseball, and we gave ourselves a chance to win every night. I was really proud of that.
Paul, in 1982, Robin Yount and yourself, you were just two young bucks, 25 and 26 years old. You won the World Series versus the Cardinals. How about all this young core? You got Berríos, Buxton, Sano, Polanco, Rosario. How excited are you to get back on the field? I know it's just over, but how excited are you to get going?
Well, I think anybody that has a chance to teach the game and watch young talent begin to flourish and start to reach some of the potential that we know that's out there, it's just very rewarding, and it makes it a lot of fun to go to the ballpark because not only do we have a really nice, talented core of young players, but they're really good people, and I think they're beginning to understand what's required to be successful at this level, what they need to do each and every day. But you never know with that large group of talented kids how exciting it is to go and watch them play each and every day.
You know, when we evaluate players, it's easy because we have stats and numbers on our side. But when it comes to managers, it's hard for members of the media to go, okay, which guy's better than the other one? But the players know. Players know you guys better than anyone else. And AJ, I want to let you hear what your guy, George Springer, said right after you won the World Series. Listen to this.
He stuck with me. He stuck by me, and you know, I will run through a wall for that guy any day.
I'd run through a wall for that guy any day. So let me ask you this. Did you really just figure it out? I mean, you were a manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Are you that much better now at the Astros than you were as a manager of the Diamondbacks back in the day?
I mean, I think so, just because I understand myself better. And I think for any manager, you got to be yourself, and you got to be yourself around your players. That will rub off on them. I've been able to watch a lot of good managers around in different jobs that I've had as a player or front office member, or just being around, you know, some of the greats. And you know, I think all of them to a man have told me that this game is about players. It's about what you can get out of them on the field. And oftentimes we do our work behind the scenes to press that button where these players will respond. And so to have, you know, George say stuff like that and watch our players play and honestly watch any of these teams play of the managers that are represented, we're very fortunate to work with players the way we do.
We have 3 managers up for American League Manager of the Year: Terry Francona, AJ Hinch, Paul Molitor. Guys, stay close. One of you will hear your name called in moments. We're going to break down the checklist for these 3 skippers. What did Tom and Carlos think of their 2017 performances? That is after the break on MLB Network.
The offseason is on MLB Network with an all-star lineup led by baseball's only offseason morning show. It's Game On, 24/7, 365 on MLB Network.
Staying ahead isn't about waiting for a chance. It's about the one bold choice you make that moves you forward. The one and only Cadillac Escalade. Come in for our season's best offers and drive out with the perfect 2017 Cadillac Escalade for you. Get this low mileage lease from around $8.99 per month.
For $5, you can get whatever the Taco Randomizer Quiero into a box.
Taco Guacarito Supreme.
Or you can get a real meal. Charbroiled double cheeseburger, spicy chicken sandwich, fries, drink, and a cookie. The $5 All-Star Meals, only at Carl's Jr. and Hardee's.
Over a year ago, I was diagnosed with advanced non-small cell lung cancer.
A true story with Keytruda.
My world came crashing down. Come on, kids. But I was not ready to give up.
After testing for high levels of PD-L1, I started on Keytruda.
In a clinical study, Keytruda offered patients a longer life than chemotherapy, and it's an immunotherapy that can be your first treatment. Keytruda is for adults with non-small cell lung cancer that has spread, who test positive for PD-L1, and whose tumors do not have an abnormal EGFR or ALK gene. Keytruda can cause your immune system to attack normal organs and tissues in your body and affect how they work, and may be serious and lead to death. See your doctor right away if you experience new or worsening cough, chest pain, shortness of breath, diarrhea, severe stomach pain or tenderness, nausea or vomiting, rapid heartbeat, increased hunger or thirst, constipation, dizziness or fainting, changes in urine, changes in eyesight, muscle pain or weakness, joint pain, rash, itching or flushing, as this may keep these problems from becoming more serious. These are not all the possible side effects of Keytruda. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, including immune system problems, or if you've had an organ transplant, or lung, breathing, or liver problems.
I used to take the small things for granted. I don't anymore.
Living longer is possible. It's true. Keytruda from Merck. Ask your doctor about Keytruda, with more FDA-approved uses for advanced lung cancer than any other immunotherapy.
New Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. Balanced, nutritious, and delicious. With 22 grams of protein, savory vegetables, Team One cashews. Together in perfect harmony. New Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. This is fit.
The art of building a championship. From creating a blockbuster trade.
Everybody's happy here. It's a win-win.
To inking a big free agent signing.
This is going to be a big pickup. I know the fans would love it.
It's all part of how GMs try to craft a winning team.
These young GMs are in there, and they're not afraid to make changes to the club.
Now, see which teams could use some finishing touches as spring training draws near.
If you tinker a little bit, you got a contending type of team.
MLB Tonight, next, only on MLB Network.
They can handcuff, stymie, and blow it by the game's top sluggers. But which hurlers were this year's best? Don't miss the BBWAA Cy Young Awards, Wednesday at 6 Eastern, exclusively on MLB Network.
Manager of the Year is the hardest award to determine, in my opinion. I'm a stats geek. There's really no good stats to use with a manager. So, yeah, it's a very narrative-driven award, and I think my job as a voter is to dive into that narrative and see whether it actually holds water.
I generally lean toward managers of surprising teams, and it's a bit unfair. I'll be the first to admit it. But generally speaking, more involved from the
National League wild card.
Paul Molitor of the Twins. No one expected them to do anything, so I would think he would almost be a shoo-in to me for the American League.
Sending shockwaves throughout the wild card standing.
The Minnesota Twins pick up that second wild card spot. And the difference maker is what did they have to work with? How talented was the roster? And, you know, that usually lends itself to the guy who surprised you.
It's usually a surprise team that's going to be the Manager of the Year winner. And it's tough for a guy to win it back-to-back years. It's almost impossible. It's almost like, okay, whose team came from the dead?
I don't think that you can judge another team's manager that you don't cover. So as a beat writer, I could see a manager on an everyday basis, things that he was doing, going to his bench just at the right time or using his bullpen in just that perfect way.
If you had a team, I think, that really exceeded expectations, you know, I think that says a lot about the manager and what he was able to do.
A lot of exceeding expectations that I hear. That's good for Paul Molitor, I guess, right? Because we thought A.J. Hinch and the Astros were going to be good. But the same thing about Terry Francona and the Cleveland Indians. They both won over 100 games. Molitor, 85, got him to the American League wild card game. They finished second behind the Indians in the AL Central. I love what we did earlier in the show for the National League side, bringing back to side Studio 21, a checklist. Right? What did these guys face along the way? So let's start with the World Series champ, A.J. Hinch. Although the postseason doesn't matter, Carlos. But A.J. Hinch, what did you see from him this year?
Well, you know what? Even though he had a great team, a lot of talent, he has to face a lot of challenges. And he met those challenges and rose to the occasion and just really got this team back together. The first one I want to talk about is refocusing in time for the postseason. Remember, there was a stretch. They started off really, really well, right? But there was a stretch that was very difficult for them, and they started losing games, and it was like, oh my God, and everything that went wrong with Houston throughout the hurricane, guess what? He got the team back to their playing really well, ready for the postseason. How about the young core? Getting that young core back on track whenever they were struggling, and these guys blossomed right before our eyes. How about Bregman? Bregman really came out and had an unbelievable career year, even though it's just only his first full season. And then acquiring the veterans, just letting them just police the clubhouse and really bring the best out of the teammates. I mean, that's awesome to just kind of like pass the baton to the veterans as well. That's a great managerial job by A.J. Hinch.
But A.J. Hinch, his team, they were not sellers. They were not sellers at the trade deadline. That is the craziest part about Paul Molitor's journey here, was that his team was trading away pieces that you would think he needed to get to the postseason.
Well, let's rewind a little farther. Do you know how many games they lost last year? 103. So to me, job number one for Paul Molitor, you know what he had to do? Flush that 2016 season. Forget 2016. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong with that team. Some of the young players just didn't really develop well. The defense was really poor, uncharacteristic of most Minnesota Twins. Well, he addressed that. There's no question about it. And he got it on this team early in spring training. Develop young players. You know, 5 core players between 23 and 25 years old. Byron Buxton, he actually started the year in the number 3 hole. Wasn't quite ready for it, but that was Molitor's way of saying, I believe in you. And then, you mentioned this, Greg, the trade deadline. They traded their closer, and they also traded their starting pitcher in Jaime Garcia. It didn't go over well in the clubhouse. He had a meeting with the team the next day, and he said, guys, we have to win with the people who are here. Forget about the ones who are not here. I thought he did a great job. You saw how well they played down the stretch. Listen, there was a lot of to-do lists for a guy who lost 103 last year. He got it all done this year. First team to do that. Go from 103 to the postseason the next year.
But once again, I can't say this enough, the postseason does not impact this voting. So if we're just looking at the regular season, didn't the Indians look like the best team in the American League? They looked like the over 20 straight wins. Terry Francona did a masterful job.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, they definitely were one of the best team, right, on paper. But they have to really overcome a lot of difficulties. And Terry Francona was right there. How about just the hangover to get back after going to the World Series? Man, that's very difficult. Look at this. At the beginning of the year, they were struggling a little bit. But guess what? They got themselves back together. That's very tough to do, especially when every single person is watching and criticizing the fact that you're not playing up to your capabilities. Then weathering the storm when Kipnis and Brantley were down. These guys were not a factor this year in the regular season. These guys only played 90 games this season. Very difficult for him. These are two pillars in that whole entire clubhouse, certainly in the lineup and on the field. And then how about this, guys? What's the strength of Cleveland? Oh, pitching. Well, guess what? They have the worst ERA in the rotation in the AL beginning of the year, right? Very late into the season. I mean, to May. But guess what? They finished first. Yeah. How in the world does that happen? How you get it back together that well? Well, Terry Francona has a lot to do with that.
I think this is a nail-biter. I think this is going to be really close, right? Closer than the NL.
I think it could very well be. I think they're both all deserving. There's no question about it. I think it might be closer.
All right, so all three guys are standing by. They're waiting to hear their name called. Terry Francona, A.J. Hinch, Paul Molitor. Who will win AL Manager of the Year? Find out after the break.
Off-beat.
I'm raring to go, flying.
Off-script.
What are you telling me?
All off-season.
This is the big stage. Show some guts.
He's the Mad Dog, Christopher Russo. He's bringing the high heat. Weekdays at 1 Eastern on MLB Network.
Wendy's new chicken tenders are perfectly crispy and tender. And with a new side of Salsa sauce, they're even better. So now the question is, to dip or not to dip? For a limited time, try the new chicken tenders with fries and a drink for just $5. Only at Wendy's.
I no longer live with the uncertainties of Hep C, wondering, what if? I let go of all those feelings because I am cured with Harvoni.
Harvoni is a revolutionary treatment for the most common type of chronic hepatitis C. It's been prescribed to more than 250,000 people and is proven to cure up to 99% of patients who've had no prior treatment with 12 weeks. Certain patients can be cured with just 8 weeks of Harvoni. Before starting Harvoni, your doctor will test to see if you've ever had hepatitis B, which may flare up and cause serious liver problems during and after Harvoni treatment. Tell your doctor if you've ever had hepatitis B, a liver transplant, other liver or kidney problems, HIV, or any other medical conditions, and about all the medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Harvoni can cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects of Harvoni include tiredness, headache, and weakness.
Ready to let go of Hep C?
Ask your Hep C specialist about Harvoni.
If you've been turned down for a mortgage because of credit or tax return issues, Cash Call Mortgage now has credit and income-solving mortgages with no closing costs. Just call 855-890-CASH, and we'll work with you to find a solution to your mortgage issues.
Bringing my Giovanni Rana pasta to everyone in America wasn't so easy. So I made it easy for America to find me. In the refrigerated section, Giovanni Rana pasta. Share what's inside.
Heineken has been family-owned since 1873. They know about tradition. My favorite tradition? You shouldn't have. Exchanging gifts. I actually bought these myself. There's more behind the star.
MLB Tonight, coming up next, only on MLB Network. An over-the-hill ball player strikes an unlikely bond with a 17-year-old phenom.
Our kid's going to the bigs.
In Pastime, Saturday at 9 Eastern on MLB Network's Bleacher Features.
Here's the thing about this game. It doesn't matter who you are, how big, or how small. It doesn't matter where you live, or where you come from. It's everyone's game. If you want to play, you can play. Your team's waiting at playball.com.
NLPastimes.org.
It's the acclaimed series that brings our national pastime's greatest to life. Baseball, directed by award-winning documentarian Ken Burns. The fate of millions is spoiled by scandal until a babe, a national heirloom, is born. Tonight at 9 Eastern on MLB Network.
Millar and Rose are fired up for the off-season.
Off-season vacation, here we come! Yeah! Whoa, Kev, keep your shirt on. We still have a show to do.
Intentional Talk, all off-season on MLB Network.
So many impressive American League teams. For Manager of the Year, you could go different directions. You could go 103 losses a year ago, how the Twins have rebounded.
To me, Molitor is a clear choice.
That was a good one. You could go consistency for the Indians.
We've talked a lot about Terry Francona. He's had the Midas touch with teams.
The Cleveland Indians, 22 straight wins.
We brought in A.J. Hinch. He's been able to motivate these guys.
I will run through a wall for that guy any day. Francona, Hinch, Molitor. Who will be your AL Manager of the Year? For the live announcement, here's Jack O'Connell.
For the second time in Manager of the Year voting history, the winner is someone who had been elected to the Hall of Fame as a player. The Twins' Paul Molitor joins Frank Robinson, the 1989 American League winner, as the only Hall of Fame players to win this award. Molly received 18 first-place votes, to 11 for runner-up Terry Francona, and 1 for third-place A.J. Hinch.
Jack, thank you. So you're really similar to the NL vote. 18 first-place votes for Paul Molitor, the exact number that Torey Lovullo got in terms of first-place votes. 112 total points compared to 111 for Torey Lovullo. Molitor is your 2017 AL Manager of the Year. Paul, congratulations. A decorated playing career. What does this managerial honor mean to you?
It's humbling, really. I want to congratulate AJ, of course, on the tremendous season, their run. And, you know, Terry and I go back to our playing days back in the mid-'80s with the Brewers. I got a lot of respect for those guys. But, you know, a award like this, it's certainly a reflection of the organization, the work that my coaches and the players put in. You know, if you win Rookie of the Year, the Cy Young, or the MVP, it's about the player. But this award, I think, is a lot more about everybody that contributed to the Twins having a turnaround season.
Well, Paul, congratulations. I do want to talk about the job that you did. You used 36 pitchers. Your backup catcher actually was on the mound 6 times, and 2 pitchers to trade at the deadline, Brandon Kinsler and Jaime Garcia. So take me to that moment when it looked like the Twins were saying, we're out of it this year, and you held your team together and went 20-11 in August.
Well, you know, I think Chris Jimenez was on a record pace for relief appearances by a position player there in the first half, but you know, it was one of those things where, you know, Cleveland was rattling off win after win, and we were kind of having a tough time keeping up, both in terms of the division and the wild card. And, you know, Derek Falvey and Thad Levine, who came in, their concern is to try to stabilize this organization going forward. And they did what they felt like they needed to do. You know, my place in that was just to let our players know that when things happen and you lose players, it's not time to look externally, it's time to look internally. And we had the guys we were remaining with, and I said, let's see what we can do. And guys like Brian Dozier, who I know wasn't particularly happy with the decisions to move people, he backed it up. He went out and had an incredible last couple of months, along as a couple of our other guys that really stepped up down the stretch, and we were able to get into the postseason.
Paul, congratulations. Well deserved. You went from 59 wins to 85 wins, all right, with some pieces that you lost, like Tom alluded to. What went right? What did you do right? What happened in that ball club? It seemed like it was magic happening every day.
Yeah, well, maybe there was some strategy in lowering the expectations last year. You know, you lose 103 games, and it's humbling, whether you're a player, a coach, or a manager. And you know, I had to do a lot of self-evaluation on things that I thought I could have done better throughout the 16 season. I definitely knew what I felt we had to get better at to improve. You know, the big difference was in 16, a lot of young guys, we got off to a horrible start, and you know, the mental fragility of young players, we just couldn't recover. This year was the opposite. We got off to a good start. I think we swept the Royals coming out of the gate, and guys started to believe early. Combine that with some tremendous in-clubhouse leadership by players, guys we brought in from Castro and Jimenez and Belial, and you know, emergence of the veterans, Mauer and Dozier having good years, and seeing our young players come along. It was just something where no matter what we faced at any time of the year, the guys just kept playing. They kept looking at the big picture, and they were able to get into the postseason. So I give the players a ton of credit for what we were able to accomplish.
An incredible year, well-deserved. Paul Molitor, your 2017 American League Manager of the Year. Congratulations again.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
There you have the Hall of Famer, and an emotional moment for him. Again, what a playing career, and of course there are emotions. When you went through the losing last year, to go to the postseason and win it all, we'll put a bow on the show after this.
Live baseball continues in November on MLB Network with the Arizona Fall League. See the next wave of Major League phenoms in action for the Arizona Fall League Championship. Watch it Saturday at 3 Eastern on MLB Network.
Check this out, bro. What's that, Brohim? I switched to Geico and got more. More savings on car insurance? Yeah, Professor, and more, like renter's insurance. More ways to save. Nice, Protated Chip. That's not all protein shake. Geico has motorcycle and RV insurance, too. Ooh, that's a lot more. Oh, yeah. I'm all about more Teddy Roosevelt.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
13-hour smoked brisket from a fast food place doesn't make sense. But this is Arby's. We don't make sense. We make sandwiches. Arby's, we have the meat. Do you want to
Let out your inner child at the Lexus December to Remember sales event. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Together, we make the holidays hassle-free and put our holiday budgets to work. We find new ways to chase away the cold, pass down our recipes in double batches, and put in less work to welcome more family. We stock up on everyone's favorites, make room for more guests, and we gather where we always do. Together, we make everyone feel at home. Get the lowest prices of the year with 40% off major appliances like the Samsung or GE fridge. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
At Sam Adams, we salute those people who did that thing. Built that thing, tried that thing, messed that thing up, then tried it again. For all the people who believe in going for it, failing, improving, who do their thing the same way we do ours. Because life isn't about whether your glass is half full or half empty. It's about filling it up. Sam Adams, fill your glass.
Can I help you?
I'm Ryan Hansen.
That literally means nothing to me.
I'm your new partner. Me and the other A-listers are supposed to be like Hollywood liaisons for the LAPD. I'm getting a badge.
No, he's not.
It's being discussed.
Hey, don't take a selfie with a dead body, please. Don't you need to be somebody to have a movie made about you?
You'd think, right? And television, forget about it. They're giving everyone a show now. Ugh.
Where do we keep the sauce or the new Western barbecue bacon cheeseburger?
Go west, son, where the bacon comes thick cut and the barbecue sauce flows like the raging waters of the Yukon.
What?
Left in the fridge.
The new Western barbecue bacon cheeseburger, $5 lunch.
Welcome to Dairy Queen.
From creating a blockbuster trade to inking a big free agent signing, it's all part of how GMs try to craft a winning team. Now, see which teams could use some finishing touches. MLB Tonight, next on MLB Network.
Awards week, 2 down, 2 very important awards to go. The Cy Young on Wednesday, and then the Creme de la Creme. MVP Thursday, all shows 6 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network. We are moments away from this cast of characters. Fran Charles, Bill Ripken, and Ron Darling are going to weigh in. Where's Stanton going to go? And, of course, their thoughts on the Manager of the Year. MLB Tonight coming up in minutes here on MLB Network. All right, it's Greg, Carlos, and Tom back inside Studio 21, just wrapping our brains around what we've just seen. Another first-year manager. wins Manager of the Year. Carlos, this is the 4th year in a row we've seen a guy new at this taking home the honor. Torey Lovullo gets it done with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, no, this is just great. And he just goes to speak of how difficult it is to just break into the scene and take on all this responsibility and succeed. Well, these guys have actually accomplished that, and Torey's very well deserving right there. So congratulations to Torey.
And when he heard his name, you could see that he was a bit emotional, but not as emotional as the Hall of Famer Paul Molitor, who joined exclusive company as a Hall of Fame player to also win Manager of the Year. Frank Robinson also did that with the Baltimore Orioles. But, you know, such a decorated player, to be so emotional on a moment like this, what do you think?
Well, Greg, that's my takeaway from these awards. You saw Torey Lovullo, who, let's face it, didn't get anywhere near the recognition Paul Molitor did as a player, but the emotional reaction from both of those. Baseball lifer and Torey Lovullo finally gets a job, goes to the postseason, Manager of the Year in the first year, and Paul Molitor's done everything in this game, and now he's Manager of the Year. And you saw a guy that lost 103 games last year, you could see in his face how much the award meant to him.
I loved it. And, you know, for all those people out there that just love the numbers and they don't even know why there's a Manager of the Year out there, players know a good manager from a bad one, right, Carlos?
No doubt about it. I mean, it's just the way that they get the best out of us, right? And I've seen it happen in my own career, where my career starts blossoming because of who I have as a leader. And Molitor, Torey, these guys are amazing.
You don't have to name them, but did you ever have a bad manager?
Yeah, I have. Between us.
Okay. Oh, whoa, I can't believe it. No, but it was really cool to see what this moment meant for those two guys, Torey Lovullo and Paul Molitor. For Carlos Pena.